Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel. I dedicate this episode to my first subscriber ever. Dude, you cheered me up so much on Saturday, you wouldn't believe it. And it's only fitting that this episode is about self-doubt. Yesterday was a real shit show, folks. I mean, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, drowning in self-doubt like it's my job. Ever had that? That voice in your head going, "Hey, remember all the ways you suck?" Yeah, that guy was on a roll last night, just shredding me. Like, how the hell are you gonna get through this week? You sure you even cut out for life? Just to really spice things up, my brain decided to hit me with a greatest hits album of my past failures. You ever lie there and just punched in the face by memories of every dumbass decision you ever made? It's a blast. Finally, my maths, God bless modern chemistry, kicked in. Just carried me off to sleep like a gentle pharmaceutical angel. And let me tell you, I woke up feeling like absolute garbage, like I got hit by a truck full of self-loathing and existential dread. But hey, one foot in front of the other, right? Tiny steps. Little victories, like putting on pants without wanting to die. And somewhere between my first sip of coffee, fantastic coffee by the way, which I definitely overpaid for, and getting on the train, I had this brief fleeting thought. Maybe life doesn't totally suck today. That's the trick, folks. You gotta grab onto those tiny, stupid little wins. Get the big and painful stuff done in the morning before your will to live evaporates. I have this whole routine. Coffee, peace, maybe a little French practice. Oui, baguette. 2, 3, 4 croissants. Oh la la, rue de Seven. I'm practically fluent. And books, because knowledge is power. Or at least it distracts me from spiraling into existential despair. I get to work expecting to be emotionally waterboarded with feedback about some test results. But surprise, the lady in charge, real nice, competent, probably the only adult in the room, called in sick. And the yoga instructor, also out. Guess enlightenment is cancelled today. Therefore, we got stuck with the psychologist. Sweet lady, loves talking about stress and human needs. Basic survival stuff. And apparently that was too much for one of participants because she just peaced out for the rest of the day, probably rethinking all her life choices. 2 others didn't even show up. Which, let's be honest, kinda makes you feel like a winner just for existing. I need to tell you about this one guy who completely melted down over the schedule change. Poor dude looked like someone just told him Santa isn't real. And not in a kids find out eventually way. No, this was the face of a man who had just realized his entire belief system was a lie. It was like someone had walked up to him and said, "Hey, just so you know, gravity? Yeah, we're canceling that." Look, I get it. Change is hard. But this guy reacted like someone had just informed him that from now on his shoes would be made of live eels. Like he had spent years training for one specific reality and now he was being asked to switch to an entirely new dimension where forks are illegal and people communicate through aggressive winking. And you know what? I hate that shit too. I hate when people just decide to change things on me. Like, hey, instead of doing what we planned, we're doing something completely different now. Oh, great. Because my brain definitely doesn't rely on fragile, meticulously constructed expectation to function. It's like being in a horror movie where the rules keep changing. First, you're in a zombie apocalypse, but now, surprise, it's aliens, and I'm supposed to just roll with that? But I will give the psychology lady a chance. I'm intrigued to listen to her words of wisdom about stress. Stress is just the universe's default background noise. It's like that shitty fan in your old laptop that's always running and you don't notice it anymore because you've just learned to live with it. But then you go into a quiet room and suddenly think, oh, wow, my brain is actually on fire all the time. Fantastic. Everyone's stressed, but people talk about stress management. Stress management. That's like if the Titanic was sinking and the crew was like, let's just manage the water better. No, dude, the water is here. It's coming in waves. All you can do is find a goddamn door to float on for a while. And then people say shit like, you just need to breathe. Oh, really? I've been breathing my whole life. That's literally the only thing I've been consistently good at. And it has done nothing for the existential dread. that I still haven't filed my taxes, and I'm watching raccoon videos on YouTube instead. Also, there's mindfulness. That's the big thing right now. Just be present. Man, I'm always present. I'm present when I'm sitting on the toilet thinking, did I forget to pay my rent? I'm present when I'm trying to fall asleep and my brain suddenly plays a highlight reel of every embarrassing thing I've ever said since 2004. I live in the moment. And you know what? This moment gives me nothing but panic. And don't get me even started on basic human needs. You know, Maslow's hierarchy: food, water, safety, Wi-Fi. Sure. But I'll tell you what the real modern hierarchy looks like. Bottom level, a Netflix account. Then food and water. Then not dying at work. Top level, feeling loved, but without putting in too much effort. And stress management, the trick is accepting that you actively have no control. Just sit down, stare into the void, and say, yeah, everything's going to shit, but at least I have snacks.